Hey, Sub! Since we've been playing Piggy for all this time, I'm sure you're really curious about where the characters have come from. What? You're not? Well, I am, and that's why you're gonna show us 10 Piggy Origin Stories Explained in Roblox Piggy. From the main characters like Piggy and Mr. P, to the side characters that don't get enough spotlight, like Zizzy and Pony, we're gonna take a look at where all the characters might have come from. Let's get right into it! Number 1. Piggy. Piggy is the most infamous of all the characters. I mean, the game is named after her, but even with the entire game being about her, we still don't know a whole lot about her. Well, I've got a story that might just solve that mystery. Penny and her family were happy together and always got along, just like you and me, Sub. Until one day, they were watching the Sub's Blox World YouTube channel when an advertisement appeared for a brand new potion that gave you superpowers. So the entire family made their way to the hospital and met none other than Mr. P the scientist. He promised them that by drinking the potion, they would gain amazing powers like super strength and even the power of flight. But little did they know, the potion actually turned them into evil piggy monsters. And now all of them are doomed to a life of infecting others with the piggy infection, unless you can put a stop to it. Number 2. Mr. P. Mr. P has been an infamous character ever since the day he abandoned you on the hospital map so that he could escape the piggy infection and leave you to fight them off. But where did he come from? And how does a walking, talking potato fit into the Piggy story? Mr. P was a famous military scientist. He created all sorts of potions that would help soldiers in the battlefield, like healing potions and energy potions. Until one day, he foolishly dropped a toxic potion that began to spread like gas throughout the room and the entire military outpost. Luckily, Mr. P was able to flee before he became infected, but that didn't stop the infection from spreading. When he came back, he was met by hordes of people that have been infected with the piggy infection. Unlike you, Sub, Mr. P is a big noob. He spent the entire Piggy story trying to put a stop to the infection, but he needs a pro like you to do it for him. Surely nobody could be that much of a noob. Unless... Bacon Hair! It was you all along! I should have known it! Number 3. Zizzy. You first meet Zizzy after searching through the carnival in an attempt to find Mr. P and put a stop to his evil plans. Unfortunately, you don't find him there, but you do find Pony and Zizzy. But if they were there the entire time, why didn't they not help you at the carnival? They just left to get you infected. Zizzy and Pony used to live a normal life together. Zizzy even tells us about how she used to be a fencing coach at the end of Chapter 9. Until one day, when the piggy infection had spread so much, her and Pony had no choice but to hide away in a safe spot somewhere. Now they've got a safe place to stay. They've made it their mission to find all the survivors and bring them back to safety, which is why they were looking for you at the carnival. Speaking of safe places to stay, there's no place better to stay than Sub's Blox World. We share all the best Piggy tips and tricks. Sub can't get enough of Piggy. Right, Sub? Number 4. Memory. Possibly the creepiest Piggy character of all, Sub, is the memory skin for Piggy. Not only do they have completely black eyes, but their jump scare is definitely the scariest. What? You're not scared of her? Oh, well, why don't I bring her in then, Sub? Oh, Sub, I thought you said you weren't scared. While Memory might not be a proper Piggy character, that doesn't mean they don't deserve an origin story. She may be scary, but what if I told you she wasn't even real, Sub? Memory is a creation of the scared George Piggy's imagination. Just like in the distorted memory map. That explains why she can levitate. No regular Piggy could do that. See, Sub? You were all scared over nothing. Oh, apart from the killing part. Yeah, that's very real. Number 5. George Piggy. Despite George Piggy being the first character we hear about in the entire story, like all Piggy characters, there's still most certainly a mystery to be solved surrounding him. And with the recent appearance in the game, plus the brand new distorted memory map, maybe we can uncover some more about his character. George Piggy was left at home while the pig family went to volunteer to try out a brand new cure to an infection. The infection we all know that had been spreading recently. We can even prove this using the note that says George's family went out to volunteer on the distorted memory map. After a while of waiting for his family to return, George gives up and goes out looking for them. Unfortunately, rather than finding his family, he runs into their infected counterparts until finally, he hides away in the mall where we find him. Imagine that, sub. What if one day I left you and turned into a big piggy monster? Boo! Maybe I will, unless everyone at home likes this video. Liking the video is the best way to show that you're enjoying the video, so we know to make more of them. Number 6. Bunny. While Bunny might have been one of the later characters to be introduced to us, she's certainly a fan favorite. She even helps you in your hunt for Mr. P. Well, until she gets infected herself, that is. Remember how we were talking about Mr. P being a military scientist, sub? Well, Bunny was actually Mr. P's lab partner. Ooh, the plot thickens. She helped him make all sorts of potions and serums, until the awful day where Mr. P dropped the piggy infection potion. Just like Mr. P, she escaped as quick as she could, but dropped her walkie-talkie in the forest while trying to get away. Mr. P called out to the walkie-talkie. And who else at the other side than you, sub? Bunny had been trapped in the school by the infected teacher and was unable to get out. And with the locked white door stopping Mr. P from getting to her, you were the only hope left. Number 7. Soldier. Where better to look for characters that need explanations than the brand new character sub? Specifically, the Soldier character. We first find out about the Soldier in the latest chapter, Outpost, as they run around getting fought off by Zizzy. Soldier was serving on the same military base as Mr. P. His job was to protect the lab from unauthorized visitors who were trying to get their hands on Mr. P's secret chemical formulas. Can't say I didn't warn you, sub. Everything was going okay, until the day that Mr. P dropped the piggy potion accidentally. Since then, all the soldiers have become infected with the piggy infection and are now more ruthless than ever when patrolling the outpost. Number 8. Torture. Just like Soldier, Torture was also working for the military on the outpost. But since Torture is the main piggy of Chapter 11, I think he could have been a captain or some sort of leader. Unlike the other soldiers, Torture didn't live in the barracks and instead lived in his own house far away from the outpost, arriving each morning to train the soldiers and make sure everything is running smoothly. Until one morning when Mr. P had been working late at night on his latest formula, and everyone had been infected with the piggy infection. Once Torture arrived, it was already too late, as all the soldiers went after him and infected him too. Hey, you at home, do you think these stories are right? Do you have any origin stories of your own? Let us know in the comments. Some might even heart the ones he likes. Number 9. Mousey. Speaking of brand new characters, we have Mousey. Mousey crawls around the vents, waiting for an unfortunate player to enter them, just to be caught and infected. Mousey was completely unaware that the piggy infection had taken over almost everyone she knew, until one day she took a trip to the mall, where she was met with empty and abandoned stores. She made her way around the creepy mall searching for anyone that could tell her what was going on, until eventually she found someone, although they weren't the friendliest. In fact, it was Robbie. Robbie chased Mousey all across the shopping mall, until eventually she was caught. But luckily, the infection had only gotten to her legs, so she crawled into the vent to hide away. But while she was in there, the infection took over her entire body, and now she crawls around the vents, catching anyone that goes in. Number 10. Grandmother. The grandmother character changed the way Piggy was played on the city map completely. Up until now, there's only ever been one Piggy, But on the new map, you don't just have Ellie chasing you around the city, but also an infected grandmother too. When everybody started to become infected, grandmother was completely unaware as she was working at her poutine. It was only until the pig family came to visit the city that then she realized what had happened. The entire pig family surrounded her, and she was infected. And now she wanders around, protecting her poutine and trying to infect innocent piggy players.